All right, we are live in the CloudSpot and AfterShoot communities. So excited to be here today. I have got a few people joining. So we've got Gavin, Gavin Wade is the CEO of CloudSpot. We've got Justin Benson, who is the COO of AfterShoot, and Esteban, who is an amazing, successful photographer. Being a photographer, as we all know, can be extremely stressful. It is a hard business to be in. But companies like CloudSpot and AfterShoot help bring that stress down. So today we're talking to Gavin Wade, the CEO and founder of CloudSpot. We've got Justin Benson, the COO of AfterShoot, and Esteban, who is a successful photographer and educator and who uses both platforms. So we are really excited to have you all here today. We're live again in both communities. So if you're not part of one, go make sure you join the other one. And I know there are some people who don't know what CloudSpot is from the AfterShoot community, and some of our CloudSpot members don't know what AfterShoot is. So we are going to kind of do a little intro and also see how Esteban incorporates both of those into his workflow. I'll pass it over to Gavin. Gavin, can you tell us about CloudSpot and how it helps photographers?
Absolutely. And thanks, guys, just for hopping on here. Good to see you. I know we rub shoulders and elbows at all the conferences and stuff, but anytime in between is a pleasure. So I will try not to get too rowdy here. But yes, I'm stoked to talk about this because really what we've got in front of you guys here is pretty much your entire workflow covered from start to finish, but in very unique ways, solving very unique problems. So I'm really excited to see and hear how Esteban incorporates all these things, but really just kind of taking a step back, like what is CloudSpot and why does it even exist, right? And then I know Justin will go into the AfterShoot side. As a recovering wedding photographer myself, I found myself in my own workflow just completely strapped for time to be able to deliver images in a beautifully branded way to my clients and to my vendors. In a way that I could be proud of. It didn't feel like an afterthought, and it was definitely in line with my brand. It allowed for me to upload quickly, allowed me to have client-facing galleries, vendor-facing galleries, to be able to sell prints and products through that gallery as well. So be able just to say, hey, look, I want to make this much, but not have to worry about the fulfillment. So it's all those little bite sizes of time that gets eaten away out of our workflow. Or as I lovingly say, wasn't on the brochure when I became a wedding photographer, but yet I found out really quickly, what I had to do, right? And the things that I didn't love to do. And so it was just over a frustrated dinner, complaining to my wife that was like, hey, look, I'm sick and tired of this, and this. And she's like, well, just do something about it. And I'm like, all right, well, how hard can it be? So CloudSpot exists and has been for a while as a beautiful gallery delivery system for professional photographers. So basically, if the presentation of those photos matters to you in terms of how your clients receive them, that's where CloudSpot fits in nicely when it comes to digital delivery or selling prints and products. Now, I'm excited because we're literally weeks away. We already have a ton of people testing it in terms of the next evolution of what CloudSpot is going to be and who we can serve. And that's called CloudSpot Studio. So that's from contracts and invoicing and project management, all completely free and with lower payment processing fees than any other company out there for photographers. So, we're enjoying and looking forward to all the ways that we're going to be able to help solve even more problems and keep everything under one roof. So that was a very long-winded answer of saying we're going to have it all covered here pretty soon. And it all came from photographer feedback and the own pains that I had in my own business. So.
And Esteban, you use CloudSpot. So how do you incorporate that into your workflow, and what features, I guess, do you find the most helpful in your business?
So one of the things that I always like to talk about when I'm either talking to other photographers or any of my workshops is that a couple of years ago, I was using a different service, and a lot of the time what happened was I was having a lot of trouble being able to communicate with my couples on the, or at least the use of downloading their images. So I would deliver a gallery and I would get 3 to 4 emails. I knew that there were going to be 3 to 4 emails after I deliver a gallery, and they all consisted of, hey, I'm trying to download my photos, but I don't know how to do this. Or, hey, I'm not quite sure how to get my photos onto my computer. And it just became very frustrating. So at that time, I made a decision that I was going to switch out of the software that I was using. And I tried out a bunch of different ones. And to me, one of the biggest selling points for CloudSpot is that when I delivered my galleries in the initial email, there was a button that was just there, and they were able to download the images directly to their computers, and it just became so much easier, and it relieved a lot of the stress that came from delivering the galleries. Now, after I started using CloudSpot, I started to realize that there were just so many different features that I had missed from all the other stuff that I had used before, and not only just from the way that the galleries look, but the different things that I can do, like being able to post different galleries for the vendors that I'm working with, and then just the overall simplicity of being able to share with multiple people, the favorites. Lately, how I've been able to use the plan service to be able to post on social media. There's just a bunch of different things that are just so amazing, that makes everything so much easier for me. And I can probably share my screen so I can show you guys just what a gallery would look like, so I can kind of give a little bit of a workflow of what do. So there's a couple of things that I do that I like from CloudSpot. When I also always like to talk about how in the middle of wedding season, how we get so overwhelmed and frustrated with just how many weddings we're having to deliver, that a lot of the time what we do is we just upload these photos and just kind of deliver them just to kind of get it over with. And I feel like that's one of the biggest opportunities that we have as photographers. And to me, I use CloudSpot to make sure that I'm delivering something that's presentable, that looks like a high quality product, that when people are going to look at their galleries, they're going to be impressed with not just the photos, but the overall presentation of the photos. And to me, that's one of the most important aspects and one of the biggest opportunities that we have as photographers. So for example, I like to make sure that I have all kinds of different folders. So I like to have a highlights folder in my galleries. I'm gonna try to share. No, it won't let me share it. Yeah. I like to have a highlights folder in my galleries to make sure that I show my absolute favorite images from the wedding. I also like to include a video slideshow with all my galleries, so that they're able to not just have to scroll through an entire gallery, but they're able to go in there and watch a 5 to 10 minute video of my favorite images throughout the day. They're able to download it directly from their CloudSpot gallery and share it with their friends and families. And there's just so many different things that I can do. I know that the last wedding that I did, there's a couple of different vendors that asked me for the images, and that's also something that's a little bit of a pain point for a lot of us photographers, where we're like, well, we have to send all the galleries to all the vendors. But I like to create a separate gallery where it'll exclude a lot of the more private photos, especially when it's like a lot of the getting ready. And then what I'll do is I'll build an entire gallery based on maybe the florist or the caterer that they might be able to use. So being able to build different galleries to be able to send it to them is just such a cool thing to do. And then obviously
do you want me to share my screen from your account?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
that works.
Let's try this.
Just tell everyone your password, Esteban.
If you go to Katie and Woodrow, that's the
4,
last wedding I delivered. On the top right-hand corner.
Okay. This one?
Top right-hand corner, Katie and Woodrow. Yep. All right. So I guess as I'm talking, you can probably get an idea of what I'm talking about here. But so on the left-hand corner, so one of the things that I actually just found out is that, which, I mean, after being a user for years, I realized that at one of my workshops, somebody told me that you can actually upload folders directly into CloudSpot, which in my brain, I've always been like, I'm just going to upload everything and then just create folders, which I still do. But I love that you're able to just work on your organization within your computer and then just upload folders directly to CloudSpot. So if you look here, you can see that I have the pre-ceremony, I have the groom's pre-ceremony, any details, first look, portraits, everything separated by different parts of the day. I've looked at, whenever I do any, so for example, at WPPI, when as a speaker, they ask us to to go in and critique people's work that sign up for critiques. And whenever anybody sends me a gallery, a lot of the people, they just post all the images and then it's just one big. To me, it just seems cluttered. It seems like there's not really a lot of thought put into the presentation of the gallery. So if you actually go into the gallery and apps, Logan, go into, so I have florist images, which I sent to the florist. And if you go to the bottom one, can you just open up that gallery there? So again, presentation is super important. So when they open their gallery, I want to make sure that it's not just a bunch of photos of like wedding pews or like 50 different photos of shoes. Like that's something that I absolutely want to make sure that when they open up their gallery, they're going to see photos that really mean something to them. So if you open that up, you're going to see that on the top left-hand corner, you have a video slideshow of what I would say were my favorite images. So if you scroll down again, you'll see that the overall presentation is, I try to make sure that I tell a story within my highlights. I try to make sure that when I'm presenting the images, it's something that's going to speak to them. And it's not just going to be 100 images of the same thing over and over again. Going back to my point where I said that I critique a lot of other photographers, a lot of people tend to see, tend to display a lot of the same images over and over again. And to me, that's just the redundancy of that just kind of takes away from the gallery. So I just try to tell a story of the entire day with the highlights, and it just makes more of an impact. So, and then if you go back to that other tab, you can actually see that I'm able to send my couples directions on how to create an app, which is super important too, so that they can have access to their galleries right within their phones, or they'll get an email with instructions on how to create an app. So, and I think that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously you have other options like the store. The store is very customizable. I just played around. I was in a workshop in Atlanta with actually Kristen, and we were playing around with the augmented reality option, which is unreal. I mean, it's just so cool to be able to, especially for people that do a lot of like, whether it's IPS or if they're sitting down with their clients in person, if you're able to sell somebody on what a canvas would look like, and to just say, well, this is what a 24 by 36 canvas is going to look like, and you're able to open up the app and actually show them what it would look like real time at their house or wherever they are. We were able to get super close to it and actually see the texture, and things like that are just little things that just add to the experience that your couples are getting. And it's just so amazing to be able to have those options, especially when you're upselling, when you're doing something like IPS or selling a lot of tangible products. So.
We do have a question that I want to get to just because we're talking about apps and all of that. Someone said, would you be able to share that email on how to make the app?
So it's Gavin could probably answer this too. It's a templated email with instructions on how to download and create the app, right?
Right. I mean, you can essentially create as many email templates and save that within CloudSpot as you'd like. What you were referencing, Esteban, was kind of like once they tap on that button, right, like that says install app, like how do we on the CloudSpot side help your client get it actually on their phone? And so we detect the device that they have, we detect the browser that they have, the operating system, and so we show them the relevant action steps just to get that icon on their home screen. And their question is, well, can't the gallery be viewed on a mobile device as well? Yeah, absolutely. Well, why did you even create this mobile app feature? A few reasons, but the question that we always kept getting, and our photographers kept getting from their clients, was, how do I get all of these images onto my device, right? So like you shot a wedding and there's 1,500 images. Well, I mean, I don't think I know anyone who's got enough space on their phone still to hold 1,500 high-res photos, right? So really the question is, well, how do I, at the touch of a button, be able to show and brag about my photos to every single person that I meet, right? That's kind of like the translated version of like, what do they want to accomplish here? And so that mobile app is the answer. So it's something that's customized for the couple, for the vendor, for the the portrait shoot, and then just they tap on it and then can still have access to everything there. And the side benefit is CloudSpot doesn't limit how many photos you can put in mobile apps. We allow you to sell through the mobile app, so you can sell prints and products through there. If your client's favorite images in a mobile app, you as a photographer can see those and interact with those. So it's essentially sky's the limit for how to utilize it, but it saves that whole conversation of, well, how do I download everything to my device? Because no one really wants to do that. And ultimately, this is a better, easier way for them to show everyone every single image.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I always tell when somebody asks me about that same question about like, well, why the app? And one of the questions that I get is, well, can I download all of the images to my phone? And I personally wouldn't want all those images of my wedding on my phone. What I want is I just want to have easy access to them, and to be able to just hit a little app, which is customizable with you have like a nice photo of it. And when you click on it, it just automatically gives you access to it instead of like opening up your browser and like doing all these other things. It just it makes so much more sense to have instant access to it rather than jumping through hoops to actually go into the web and doing it.
Totally. And you can still allow single image downloads through the mobile app as well. So if someone did want to save one or two, but they didn't have to, go through that 1,500 times. So
yeah. Justin, you're cracking up over there.
It made me laugh. You're like, oh, I don't want to download all of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Gavin's going to dive in here and explain how this actually works, where you can just save photos that you actually want. But no, it was, incredible stuff.
Yeah. It's really cool to just have instant access to everything. So.
Awesome. Well, we're going to hop over to Justin now. Justin, can you tell us, especially for our users over here at CloudSpot, tell us about AfterShoot and how you all help photographers.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. So we're AfterShoot. AfterShoot is an AI culling and AI editing company. So what we do is we go through your images. We use magical unicorns to look for things like blink and blur, as well as emotion and composition and more, to try and give you a curated set of images that you should then begin to edit. And from our editing, we actually learn how you edit and then replicate that style over your set of images to attempt to edit like you. Ultimately, trying to save you a lot of pains in your workflow, just like CloudSpot does. We're lucky to have Esteban as somebody who hated us at first, but then started using us a little bit more. And then it turned out he actually loved us. So we really do,
love is a strong word.
He accepts us now. He actually uses us. So, but yeah, it's quite.
That's
cool.
An even stronger word. I use you guys.
Yeah, there you go. It's a match made in heaven at this point. So, just seeing all the things that CloudSpot does and how you guys can just help with that post-delivery workflow and what AfterShoot can do to get you from shoot to ready to deliver. It's pretty awesome. And I'm reading these comments and I'm seeing how amazing CloudSpot support is. And if you haven't tried AfterShoot and you want to just go see how amazing our support is, I think this is why we're such great companies together, because we really do believe in our users, and I think that's awesome.
And can I just add real quick? I think that when you talk about support, it's one of the things that I also love talking about, especially when I have lives in my group, is that a lot of the time when I'm working with companies, it's not just necessarily about how great their products is. Obviously, you guys both created amazing products, and I love using them. But a lot of the time, that little bit extra usually is that support. So the fact that I can go into the CloudSpot community and ask a question and get an instant response from somebody, the support button on there is just so amazing. And then obviously with you guys with AfterShoot, it's just such a cool thing to know that if I have a question, you're going to be there, Harshit's going to be there, or when it comes to CloudSpot, I know that in my community, Gavin's constantly jumping in there and answering questions. So it just really speaks volumes to to the way that you guys are running the company, which is pretty amazing to see, because I know that there are other companies and you guys are very, very busy, but when you ask questions, you might take a little bit longer to respond if from other companies, but with you guys, it's just been amazing so far. So.
Yeah. So we have 24-hour in-app support. I am not a recovering wedding photographer. I actually still shoot them. So I haven't recovered from that addiction yet. But with that being said, when we created AfterShoot, we knew that we really wanted to be a different company in the industry. We wanted to have that 24-hour support and really give photographers something to feel good about in the industry. And like I said, when we met, I felt the same thing. And that's why I was like, yes, we had so many mutual ambassadors and all of these things. It really is an awesome fit. So thank you, CloudSpot, for letting me even into your group.
Yeah, you slipped through. That's okay. We'll make sure it doesn't happen again, though. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm kicked out of Esteban's group. So
man, just getting banned all over the place. No, I love it, Justin, and I think you really because AfterShoot speaks for itself, right? And you're kind of underselling all that it can do for photographers. But let's be honest here. Like, this is one of the most painful parts of the whole workflow, right? So like, getting behind the camera, creating these images. Obviously, we're in our zone as photographers, right? This is our passion. This is why we got into it, creating beautiful images for our clients. But then it's coming through and it's doing the click, 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 like through, especially for weddings, right? You're going through thousands upon thousands of photos, right? And I remember back, when we were shooting, that would take a full 6, 7, 8 hour day, right? Just to go through everything the next day, right? And picking those things and going back and forth, going 3 photos forward. Were they blinking? Were they not? 3 photos back. Okay, that one, grandma wasn't blinking, and like keep moving forward, right? Like, I think every photographer on this live has a visceral reaction to like the work that's involved to be able to do that, right? And AfterShoot literally just takes that and just goes, we got you, right? Like, you can be involved as much as you want, but then you can also be as hands-off as much as you want, right? So again, still letting us photographers, control freaks, being who we are, still be us, but still taking 90% of that work just out of the equation, right? And then letting you focus on the things that you love most. And then, so culling, done, right? Like, within minutes, like, that is sorcery, right? And then going through and then editing and actually having something that gets better over time, learning how you edit, learning how you interact with those scenarios, and then applying that and getting you literally like that far away from the finish line to where you can then go and refine. And it's almost to the point now where you almost like have to take your foot off the gas as a photographer so that you don't deliver things to your clients within like hours after, right? Yeah, see, there you go. Esteban, right? Like, you deliberately like hold off, right?
You have to. I remember specific, actually, that gallery that Logan just shared. That wedding was a week, or actually, I shot that wedding, and then about 3 to 4 days later, I actually traveled to St. Louis to speak at a conference. And about a week and a half later, I was like, I'm done. Like, I've never had this feeling, and this is the first year in my career where I've actually really implemented this system where I'm letting AfterShoot cull, where I'm letting AfterShoot edit, and then I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm done. Like, in the middle of actually speaking at a conference, like, I was actually done editing the wedding, and it was perfectly fine to go in. Now, again, it's not going to get you 100% of the way there. I know that when Justin and I have had any lives or conversations, it's artificial intelligence. You have to train it to be smart or to know what you like, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to be able to shoot a wedding, to cull it within like I culled that wedding the next morning, and it took maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes to cull maybe 5,000-6,000 images. It got me down to about 1,600 images. And then what I actually have been doing is I'm actually because of their pricing structure, because they do unlimited for everything as opposed to a per image base. I just edit everything that I shoot. So whenever any image I shot maybe 6,000-7,000 images, and I'm editing every single one of those images, because after it cools down, I might add in the future, and it's already been edited for me. So it's just I hate using the term game changer, but it definitely has been a little bit of a game changer, because at the end of the day, like you said, Gavin, I mean, I think our goal is kind of to just have that free time to spend with family and do other things. And as somebody that like Justin said, I was very against the whole AI thing, and I wasn't a believer at first, but now I see the advantages of it, because I can literally go and shoot a wedding, cull it, edit it, go on a work trip, come back and spend maybe 4 to 5 hours doing minor adjustments and deliver the gallery. And it's just pretty unbelievable to have that time back.
Yeah, there's 3 camps to AfterShoot users, right? So there's the me's out there. Just for statistics, because Gavin, you are kind of blowing me away. I mean, you might as well just work for us at this point. But for me, I used to take about 12 to 18 hours, 12 to 15 hours to cull and edit a wedding. I'm down to 3. I haven't surpassed 3 since we started using AfterShoot. So for me, I could, in theory, do it the next day. I'm not going to, right?
Yeah, don't do that.
My motto is here. I like to spend, time. I have 4 kids, so I have lots going on. So I still take about the same amount of time, but I'm more of a perfectionist now. So I started photoshopping like power lines out and exit signs and things that I never really would have done before, because I have more time to actually go through and work on these galleries. The other camps, there's 2 other camps. There's the turn it around super fast for a fee camp. So we have some users who are like, hey, I can expedite your gallery. I can bump it to the head of the line for an additional fee. And this is something that they're using as, again, just a way to make it additional money, pay for the service. Then there's the final camp, which is the deliver it super fast and catch them on their honeymoon so that you can upsell them on their gallery. So we have a user who has seen a 60% increase in sales because he's timing out the delivery of his gallery with their honeymoon. So they're actually in their honeymoon phase. He can have them delivered, he can edit them, call them, edit them, and have them ready to go within a couple, hours. But he waits until he knows they're on vacation, enjoying themselves, and then he sends them the album design. He sends them their gallery. And just, again, they're so happy and excited, and they're on vacation. They get to see all their photos, and they're 60% more likely to, buy things out of his gallery now. So, you could choose how you want to use it, but it's really advantageous.
Yeah, and I think just to add too, I think one of the biggest advantages to me is, again, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that the less time I spend in front of the computer, the more money I'm making, essentially. And if, to me, being able to put both of these services together is just so amazing, because I'm cutting down the amount of time that I'm in front of the computer with AfterShoot, and then being able to upload my galleries, and know that when I deliver my galleries, I know that my clients aren't going to have trouble downloading. I mean, I know that they're going to have instant access to it. I know that that there's not going to be any issues. It just makes everything so much easier. And even like with the whole honeymoon thing, it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because I actually texted my bride from a couple of weeks ago, and they're actually in Greece right now. So I noticed that they were in Greece, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could just deliver the gallery while they're still on their honeymoon. I legitimately texted her on Instagram. I said, hey, when do you get back from your honeymoon? And she goes, oh, on the 30th. So I said, okay, cool. So you'll have your gallery by the time that you're still, or while you're still at your honeymoon. And she was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I was like, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, you'll have it in a couple of days, and you'll be able to see your gallery while you're still on your honeymoon. And I think that not only helps them out, but it also helps me out, because it gets them excited while they're in their honeymoon high, and maybe it'll translate into more sales, or it'll translate into them being able to tell people like, hey, Esteban was able to deliver everything in a couple of weeks instead of waiting 4 or 5 months for a gallery. Because I think, as someone that has at times delivered in 2.5 months, I do feel like if you wait too long, you kind of lose that high of the wedding that people are still on, and it's definitely you're losing opportunities to create more sales. So
absolutely, got to capitalize on that emotional window, right? So
yep,
yeah, for sure. And Justin, your guys' technology is so new, right? I mean, there have been gallery companies around for a while. I mean, we're old, right? But like for those who are like haven't even considered or have heard about it, but have kind of been a little resistant to it just because it's something new and we don't like change, whatever it might be. Like what's the barriers? Like what does it take for someone to dip their toe into the AI culling and editing world?
Yeah, this is the best part. So when it comes to culling, you can literally just download it, open the box, and run it. So it'll learn from you over time. But really, there's no barrier to entry for culling. It's just, hey, I need some help. Let's let the AI assist me. You get to choose some settings, which will actually impact the results. So you can determine like if you want to see more images, if you're like kind of leery of AI, you can set it more towards like the lenient settings. So maybe it'll give you more images than you really want, but you can kind of get a feel for how it works and get your toes wet in that space. When it comes to AI editing right now, because it is in beta, you do have to build your own profile. So we recommend a minimum of 5,000 images to edited images to build your own AI profile. In our case, you can start with as few as 2,500, but again, the results won't be quite as good as if you had 5,000 photos. So you got to upload those photos. We build that magical unicorn. We ship it down to you, and then you can disconnect from the internet if you want. So you can just cull and edit and play with it from there. So really low barrier to entry. In the coming months, we'll actually have some pre-built profiles as well. So you won't even need a data set. You can literally just start editing when you open the box. But yeah, it's really just getting into it, trying it out a little bit. You still have to be involved in that. Somewhat when it comes to culling, you don't want to just like walk away and say, hey, it's great. You can, but most people, really want to get a feel for how the AI works. Because once you understand a little bit and you see what it's doing, you start to feel more comfortable with it. And I vote Gavin.
I vote Logan.
I was going to say, I totally got left out on that comment. Who has the best hair? Drop it. Drop your votes in the comments.
You can't see the bald patch back here.
If we can do one for mustache hair, just so I feel better about myself, that'd be okay.
Yeah, I'm out.
No, I vote Esteban. I think that's uncontested. So yeah, sorry, Logan.
Well, I was supposed to get a haircut this morning, but that didn't happen. So I accept my loss.
Yeah, he asked if we could move the live just for his haircut, but
yeah. I also want to talk about something that I've been really seeing that it makes a huge difference as well. I know that with CloudSpot, the JPEG Mini integration has been pretty amazing too, because I actually being able to run them through JPEG Mini is just such a cool feature, because not only does it make my couples or it allows them to download them much quicker, it just makes for a much easier download, because when you're downloading 1,500 images, to be able to download the full resolution images without really seeing any quality loss is pretty amazing.
For sure, yeah. We kind of have buried that over the years that it's actually there, but I mean, you get more out of the storage that you're paying for, right? So like if you have 350 gigs, well, that's more like 700 gigs when it's all said and done once JPEG Mini does its magic. So and I was just visiting one of our main print labs, WHCC, and like never an issue with printing, right? It's always any size, whatever you need, whatever product, like it's a non-issue, which has been great. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, definitely.
Gavin, actually, it just dawned on me, we got to get some info to our AfterShoot family, because we're live in that Facebook group. So if you had to give us like some of the things that make life a little bit easier, I know one personally that's allowing me to transition over is you have an integration system, I believe, right? You can port over some galleries if you need to.
It's true. Yeah. Talking about barriers, right? So, our team is amazing. And so if you are making the jump, we can help move those photos over. There are no magical unicorns involved, unfortunately. It's a very manual process, but it's done with love and with care. But yes, our team can help bring things over, because we know sometimes that's just the toughest sticking point, right? Like folks do feel stuck sometimes. And if they're wanting to try something new, like this can be the way that we can help them, get on over or move with what matters most to them over. Usually it's like the last year or two or whatever it might be. But in some cases it's more. So, but we're here to help however we can. And speaking of beta, our whole studio manager side of things is in beta actively now as well. And we're opening up tons of spots, actually more daily now, which the CloudSpot community will be happy to hear as well. But on the AfterShoot side, like pretty much the way I'm seeing, like I was trying to think through like, Esteban's workflow. What's it going to look like once everything is out of beta or once everything's said and done? And it's going to be like an AfterShoot sandwich because CloudSpot's going to be on the contract and invoicing and project management side, right? and then he's going to go and push a button a few times and do what he does, right? And then he's going to come back, run it through AfterShoot, right? It's going to do all of its stuff. He's going to go off, teach workshops, do whatever. He's going to come back. Those are all going to be done essentially with a few more hours. And then he's going to upload it and deliver and then allow himself to earn some more income through print and product sales. So like Esteban, so like party at your house, like I don't know what you're going to do with all this free time, man, and extra money.
Oh, man, I don't know. I'll probably just pet this guy a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Lay right next to him.
Yeah. But it's amazing. I honestly can't wait. As someone that has been using the AfterShoot beta for a long time, the gallery that Logan actually showed, that was all fully edited in AfterShoot. It was delivered within about a week and a half after the wedding. And to think that I'm going to be able to go in and for my onboarding, just be able to use CloudSpot, and then go into AfterShoot and do my thing with AfterShoot, and then just go in and do what I think is arguably the most important part of the transaction, which is the last one. Like, how do I properly deliver a product that's indicative of my style, my work? If people are paying me for their weddings, I think they want to expect things that are on brand with the overall quality of the product, and to me, that's just so important. And again, going back to the whole thing where like a lot of photographers tend to just kind of rush the process of delivering the galleries, and to be able to have that, to go from CloudSpot to AfterShoot and have the most important piece be the delivery of the product, it's just pretty amazing because I won't have to worry about anything else. Because I do use something else right now, and it's just a little cumbersome, and it just kind of, every time I open it up, I just kind of sigh, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't wait to be able to just have it all under one roof, because it'll be a much easier process.
Days away, my friend.
Everyone's waiting. I know. I see the comments.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I can't wait. I think it'll be really cool to be able to play around with it and have everything under one roof.
And we sat down, Esteban, and I think we calculated, like, just with what you're going to save and not having to pay for an additional CRM or studio manager plus the lower fees, like it's 2.5% flat processing fee that for every invoice. We sat down and did the math, and not to give too much away, but it is in the thousands of dollars per year that just right out of the gate you are going to save. And have everything even that much more connected and more consistent of a client experience. So
there are very few moments in my career where I was like flabbergasted, and that was one being in Chicago and you being like, come here, I want to show you something. And we sat down outside of that conference, and you're like, this is what we have. And then I remember you going, and this is how much it's going to cost. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I can save thousands of dollars a year just on fees. And then just, I also think I remember you called me and you're like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, that would be, oh my God, you have no idea how amazing that would be, to be able to save thousands of dollars, to not have to pay an additional monthly fee on a service to onboard my clients and have contracts. It would be unbelievable. And I can't wait. So can you hurry up?
I believe I heard Esteban say that he's buying us Leicas because we're saving him so much time and money. Right?
See, that answers the question. What are you going to do with all the saved time and money? Now we know. Perfect.
Yeah,
exactly.
No. Boom. Here's one.
There you go.
You might recognize
Fine,
this
I'll
one.
take 2. There you
So
go.
Gavin, for all of the AfterShoot community, you do have a special, right? There's something that they can kind of explore, see what it's all about, and maybe save a little bit of money. Is that correct?
It is true. I appreciate the setup. Well, I mean, and you can start for free with us. So you can go in, you can splash around, you can upload your first galleries completely free. So no credit card, no nothing like that. But once you do see all of the time and effort that it's going to save you, we do provide a significant discount on your first year on any monthly or yearly plan, and that does include the free migration service. And Logan, I mean, you said it before, but and we're also going to give a couple of months away here to a few folks, just so there's absolutely zero excuses. And Esteban will fly out and onboard you personally, I think. Did I hear that right? No?
Yes.
No? Wrong?
No, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I mean, he won best hair, so that only makes sense. So,
No, I think Logan won best hair.
Just to make sure, you said 50. That's 50% off for the first month?
For the first year on any plan. And if you do yearly, that's like 25% off on top of 50. So it's like 75% off.
That is the bee's knees, as the kids say. I can't believe it. I saw the comment. I know that's my bad acting, but I really, to be able to get 50% off, right? That was bad acting, right? But for 50%
that is
off
just the bee's knees.
That is a deal and a half. 50% for the first year off, or for the first year is pretty incredible. So
awesome. Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, when Studio lands, you'll have contracts, invoicing, project management, right? Galleries, image delivery, and a print store for $7.50 a month with that 50% off discount for our first plan. So
that's mind-boggling.
$7 a month. That's pretty unbelievable.
There you go. The Starbucks and a half, or maybe 1.
Yeah,
that'll
depends
change
on where you are.
As Esteban's favorite word, game changer.
Can you tell us about the AfterShoot Founders deal?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're running a very, very, very special deal. So this is our AfterShoot Founders deal. So since we're still in beta for editing, we're doing a pre-sale, allowing everybody to get in on unlimited editing and unlimited culling. So what that means is that you will never pay per image again. So if you lock it in, it's $499 per year for that unlimited culling, that unlimited editing. It means every update, every upgrade. Like we have masking coming later this year. We have some other things that are top secret that I can't talk about that we're going to launch soon. So you have all sorts of really cool features. It's all included. And you'll know, like right out of the gate, it's $499 every year for the rest of your life for culling and editing. So you can really pre-plan, hey, I just need an extra engagement session and my culling and editing is paid for. And that really, it breaks down to like $42 a month. So if I can save you those, like I said, for me, it's 12 hours saved every wedding. If I can get you those 12 hours back over the course of every wedding for a year, I think you're going to be really happy.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, as somebody that I did consider outsourcing my editing and culling to a third party, to think that I can get 80 to 90% of the way there now for under $20 a month, or about $20 a month. It's pretty, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. I mean, when you're paying per image, I was doing the math at one of our workshops because we had to use somebody that uses a different service. We were doing the math and it was like, it's like under $25 a month for unlimited. You can literally edit as many images as you want. And in order to get to that, or if you're paying $25 a month with a different service, you'd have to, you reach that $25 mark, I mean, at a couple hundred images. So if you're editing 2-3 weddings a weekend for a month, I mean, you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars with other AI products too. So I don't know how you guys were able to get it at this price, but it's pretty crazy to think that you're able to do that.
Yeah. So just a quick correction. It's 42 when you do the math. Esteban's thinking about.
I'm thinking 42. Of each service. Yes.
Yeah. If you break it, okay.
I
got you. I was
sorry. Yes.
Parsons over like 20, 5 is wrong.
No, I'm thinking,
yes.
so if I'm paying $42 for both services for unlimited, I'm thinking
Yeah.
each service is under about $21. So
That's awesome. Yeah, no, we did a lot of math behind this, and for us, when we started this process, it was really important that it was unlimited, right? Because I've tried real human editors, I've tried other AI editing softwares, and what I found is that every time that it was wrong, I felt like I was throwing away hard-earned money. It was a constant thing, and it happened, right? Even a real human being can get it wrong. I've gotten it wrong. My favorite thing to bring back to is I did sneak peeks last summer when we were kind of building out this before we had actually launched anything for me to use. I'd edited my sneak peeks by hand. And then I came back with the AI editing once I had like a prototype, and I ran it on it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I accidentally delivered extremely yellow images for my sneak peeks, right? Like the AI had just gotten it so much closer to like what I would actually edit like. And so I was like, I must have been tired or whatever it was, but it's crazy how it can be better than me in some cases. So that just, again, having that unlimited service and not feeling like, hey, when it gets it wrong, I lost money. That was a goal from us from the beginning.
And then to think that if you're a new photographer, if you're just starting your business, obviously the first couple of years of being in business are very difficult, and you want to make sure that you're not only presenting yourself as a professional, but you're doing it in a way that that is also getting you to where you're going to be profitable. And to think that new photographers right now can sign up for a service that can co-edit their images in their own style and save them time, and also use a product that can potentially cost them, what did you say, Gavin, like $7 a month for the first year. So
Yeah.
under $50 a month, you can run a business and have everything under one roof. And I mean, I started this 10 years ago, and if you told me that, hey, I mean, I started delivering galleries through like Google and like Dropbox and all that stuff. Like that stuff that's just not very presentable. So if you're a new photographer and you're saying, well, how do I make sure that my presentation and my brand is visible to my clients? I mean, under $50 a month, you honestly, there hasn't been a time where you can honestly say that you can do that under $50 a month, and it's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. I think we have a question kind of piggybacking off of that. Like, what's a piece of advice for each of us that we would have for a photographer that's just starting out? I think that's a perfect segue.
Oh, that's a good question. Justin, do you want to start?
Oh, yeah, no pressure. That's fine. So I think I think really, one of the things that I would emphasize most is starting out is really find the ways that you can expedite and ease your pains in life, because they'll grow really quickly in this industry, right? So I've been a photographer since 2011. By the time I went full-time photographer, I was so inundated with work. I was overworked. I was tired. I didn't find all the pieces that really helped me do my job the best I could. So my business wasn't optimized, right? I was losing money if you did it to the dollar. But knowing that now, if I could go back in time and find those systems and put everything in place, like if I had the CloudSpots and the AfterShoots back when I started, I could have increased sales. I could have done more sessions. I probably could have taken on more sessions because my reputation would have been a little bit better with faster delivery and those sort of things. So definitely take this time as you're getting off the ground to really embrace what's available to you and find ways to utilize it to really set yourself up for a 2-year success, a 5-year success, and then in 10 years, so your business is maximizing its profits as best you can.
Wow, that was deep.
And true.
Yeah. I guess I could go next. I definitely think that I always like to start every single one of my talks or any workshop with the same quote. And it's be motivated by the fear of being average. I feel like a lot of the time it just takes a couple of different things to just stand out amongst let's be real here. It's photography. It's very easily accessible. Anybody could go to Best Buy and buy a camera and become a photographer, open up an LLC. But at the same time, I feel like utilizing everything that you have at hand to really not look like everybody else and not take the approach that everyone else is taking. Really standing out in an industry, whether it's through your work or through your presentation, like using services like CloudSpot that really deliver and offer things that not a lot of other companies do. And then I just think that I'm very much an artist. I'm not a business person. And a lot of the time I like to sell myself through my work and through a visual aspect of my work. And just really every time I pick up a camera, just knowing that I don't want to just create average work, that I'm creating something that's going to wow couples. And it's just the way that I've been doing it for the last couple of years, and it's been very successful. So with that being said, definitely try to do things like selective color, sepia. Those are all great things to try out. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, just be motivated by the fear of being average, which is something that I really love thinking about. So.
And to piggyback off of that, Esteban, I just wanted to say, if you're watching and you haven't taken one of Esteban's workshops, I know they sell out quickly, but if you're starting out, take the minute to just learn from Esteban. He's a fantastic teacher, and he really can make you stand out. Every time I watch him, I pretend like I'm learning something from him because I know it already, but really I've seen his presentation a lot of times, so I can't learn anything new from them. But really, he's absolutely fantastic. I love everything he does, and that quote that you're saying, that's really how you do it, by taking an Esteban workshop and learning how to be your own unique, amazing photographer.
Thank you. Appreciate those words.
Well, let me dogpile on it and say, when you're first starting off, like at least for me, I felt a lot of this pressure to be like perfect right out of the gate, right? Like to have it all down, to have it all figured out, to have like that I couldn't learn. I didn't give myself that permission to learn and to grow and to be okay with the fact that I was going to change. And when you're first starting out in your photography business, like, I don't know, Esteban, like how many iterations has like your style and your work taken like over the years, right? And like, it just happens, right? So to put this huge pressure on yourself to be like, I have to have my style done. I have to have my branding done. I have to have everything completely like finished before I can ever even feel like I can take a breath. Like give yourself some grace, because it's a journey, right? And business is supposed to be hard. So because it feels hard, that's okay. Like, that is business. Welcome to business, right? Whether you have 2 weddings or 2 sessions, or whether you have 200, it's always going to be difficult. It's just going to be difficult in a different way. So as long as you prepare yourself for that, in the live that I did, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I called it embracing the suck, right? There are going to be moments in your business journey, and that's okay, because there are opportunities for growth, right? That's all that changes. It's just masked opportunities for growth. So keep at it, right? Invest in relationships more than you invest in gear. It's one of those kind of things where sometimes we get that flip-flopped, right? So give more than you get. Always be learning, right? Again, like through workshops, or there's so many resources even online now, to where if I just wanted to start from nothing, like so much more at my fingertips, be able to learn and soak up that stuff as a sponge. And then I can pick the places that I want to invest in more into growing myself, right? Whether it be in the business side or the creative side. But just keep constantly looking for ways to do that, because as soon as you get complacent and rest on your laurels, or figure out I got nothing else to do, someone sneaks up, and the person who's been hustling and learning and constantly iterating and growing is just going to pass you by, and you're going to wonder what the heck happened. So there you go. A few more tidbits there.
I do want to add to that, because I think it's important to, especially to tell people that are starting off, when I like to tell people that if you want to go through a really good exercise, is go look at somebody's work who you really admire, and just scroll down all the way to the bottom of their Instagram or their Facebook page, and just realize that if somebody says, well, Esteban has such a good eye, or Gavin has such a good eye, or anybody, just a lot of the time, this is all through a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights. And when you're first starting off, I feel like that it's just really natural to compare yourself to people that have been doing it for a much longer than you have. And you automatically want to get there. And the only difference between somebody that's been doing it for 10 years and somebody that's been doing it for 1 year is that we're just at different parts of our own little timeline. And it's good to compare yourself, to have something to look forward to. But don't lose sight of the fact that we're in a different timeline, and we're all kind of working towards something. And if you just work hard, if you make sure that you do things correctly, you make sure that you're a team player, make sure that you help out the community, make sure that you're kind, make sure that you focus on things that are important, like education, instead of like going out and buying a new Leica. Like, you don't have to do that sometimes. You can just easily say, well, instead of me buying this new lens, how can I invest into my own education? Because education to me, and I'm not just saying this to plug my own workshops, but I think it's important to say, what's more important to me, to have a lens that shoots at 1.2 rather than my 1.8 lens, or to spend 2-3 days with somebody that I admire and learn something from them, so that I can implement it into not only my work, but my business. And another thing is that you don't have to take workshops on lighting or all this stuff. Just take some business workshops. I feel like that's some of the other things that a lot of people tend to get wrong. We always want to become better photographers, but we let go of that whole, how can I become a better business owner? And I think that's something that a lot of people that are newer in the industry can definitely learn.
Totally. Yeah. Don't compare your step 2 to someone's step 2000, right?
Yeah.
It's just, it's not going to get you there. Right. And yeah, I know, gosh, I mean, being a dinosaur like me, like I've known so many photographers over the years who are amazing photographers, but crappy business people, and they did not last. Right. But then on the inverse, I knew a lot of people where I'm like, okay, those photos are nothing spectacular, but man, they're crushing it, right? Because they have that business side, right? So yeah, totally spot on. And if all else fails, right, just buy a Sony, right, Esteban? So then,
oh my God, I agree to do this, and I'd like to make my formal announcement that I am resigning as ambassador.
No, there you go. That's right. That's right. For all those you don't know, Esteban bashes on Sony every opportunity he gets. So a little outside joke there, but that's awesome.
No, he's a Nikon shooter. It's fine.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
Nobody's perfect. Yeah. So. Any other questions, Logan, that we can answer for folks? This has been a ton of fun, but I know we're kind of at the hour mark here, and I don't even know what time it is in India, Justin. I don't even know. What is it?
It is 11:30 p.m.
There you go. Well, thanks, man, for staying up. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, thank you for having me. And I'll do my last little hoorah here. I'd love to invite all of our AfterShoot family, friends who are watching here. CloudSpot, go like the CloudSpot page and join the CloudSpot community. I think Logan will let you in, hopefully, to their community. And just check it out. Like Gavin said, it's 50% off for the first year. That's $7.50 to join their gallery sharing. That's like incredible.
Thanks,
We've
man.
got
Thanks.
both links dropped into the comments in the communities. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them, and I'm sure we'll get to them if it's not during the live. So, yeah, it looks like there aren't any more questions coming in, but everyone's very, very thankful for this live and for y'all being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Logan, for keeping us in line.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Esteban. Appreciate you both, guys. Thanks for all you do. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See you.
Bye.